Well, hello. We're now speaking with John Conrath, one of the members of Floyd Nation. They're going to be performing at the Rialto Theater here in Tucson on March 28th. You can get your tickets at klpx.com or at the Rialto Theater's website as well, or even at the door. So, John, tell me a little bit about Floyd Nation. I've obviously heard of the other two bigger acts. Not you're not one of you're one of the three big ones. But obviously, Brit Floyd, the Australian Pink Floyd show, and Floyd Nation are, I would say, the pinnacle of the bands right now. Tell us a little bit about the history of Floyd Nation.
Floyd Nation, and thanks again, Larry, for having me and talking over all this stuff. We're super excited to be the new kids on the block, and sometimes it's a hard road to travel because the other bands have been around for so long, and they built such an extensive base, and it's hard to saturate or hard to get out there and tell the word to people. What's happened though in the 3 years that we formed the band is that we've had this amazing response from multiple cities across the country. We didn't know, we knew it was good. We knew what we were doing felt good, but we didn't know the extent of it. And we still don't really understand why today. But we're having such a dramatic impact on our fans all across the nation as we're touring around all these different cities. So literally, we're only about 3 years old, and so not a lot of people have heard about us yet. But just kind of, as they say, hold my beer and wait for it because we're coming to a city near you really soon.
So yeah, it's amazing because you guys, and if I may just ask, John, I don't hear a British or an Australian accent there. Are you American made?
We are 100% American. And the cool thing about our group, and we all come from various backgrounds. Some of us had professions prior to becoming musicians, professional musicians. Some of us have been professional musicians and had other professions as well. But the one common thread that kind of intertwines all of us together is that we're fanatical Pink Floyd fans. So every time we hear the music and we listen to other tribute bands playing it, we're so super critical of what we hear and what we feel. Part of the reason we started Floyd Nation just a handful of years ago was because when we went to those other shows, we weren't moved the way we felt we could be moved. And so when we got together and started playing, and we have 9 people on stage, 9 musicians on stage. We're all pretty much from the local area here. We've got some backing vocalists that are out of town, but all the main musicians on stage are right here in Southwest Florida, which is really kind of surprising because a lot of times you got to find these musicians that can play this caliber of music nationwide or even worldwide sometimes, like some of the other touring bands that are out there. We're literally within 40, 50 minutes of each other, right down here in Southwest Florida. But when you hear what we put together and you feel what we put together, and we'll probably talk about that in a little bit, there's just nothing like it. So we're super excited to come to Phoenix and get the farthest west that we've ever been to date,
Really?
which is really fantastic. We've stayed over on the East Coast quite a bit, yeah.
So you're playing Phoenix and Tucson, from what I understand. So you're doing like a two night run here in Arizona. Um,
We're gonna come in and do Phoenix and Tucson, and then head up to Albuquerque, and then I believe we have another show in the works after that one. But yeah.
well, there's some big Pink Floyd fans out here in Tucson and up in the Phoenix area. I know that for a fact because I've lived in both cities. And so do you do the light show, the whole thing? Because I saw Gilmore. We were just talking before we started the interview. I saw Gilmore at the Hollywood Bowl, and his laser show was amazing, but he really didn't do the light show that you like Roger Waters would do with all the effects and everything. He was a little bit more
Sure.
subdued. He let the music. Are you kind of more subdued and let the music do the talking, or do you do the Pink Floyd light show as well?
So when we first started off, our whole focus was because we wanted to get the feel of the experience down first. We wanted to understand the music. We wanted to feel the flow and the groove of it first for our fans. Since then, we've built out a pretty extensive light and laser show, but we don't want to present it in a way that it distracts from the music and from what's being played. So when we think about the light show and we think about the laser show that we do have, and it is really great, by the way, but when we think about that, we want to make sure that we're still able to connect with the fans on an interpersonal level. So each one of the musicians on stage, we do everything we can to interact with everybody in the audience that we can. That connection to me is so much more important than a big round video screen, taking your attention away from the band itself. We want to be able to connect with the fans because that's how you really start to feel it.
So you're touring on this tour. It's the 50th anniversary next year of Wish You Were Here. So you guys, are you doing the album in its entirety?
We're gonna play everything off of the album. Yes, in 2025. We're gonna have a lot of the greatest hits in there as well. But we're gonna be covering the entire "Wish You Were Here" album throughout the night in the two sets that we perform. Yes,
Oh, so you're doing two sets with an intermission, just like Pink Floyd would do.
we do two sets in intermission, and sometimes those sets can get pretty long. Our shows can last as much as 3 hours or sometimes even longer. It depends on the crowd that we go into and what the venue allows us to get away with. Hey, if we had our way, we'd play 7 hours of Floyd in one setting, but most people can't handle that in one setting.
Well, it's interesting. I gather I read some of the information on you guys. You try to recreate the music almost note for note as how somebody would remember hearing it on the CD or the LP, whatever their first listening experience was. But one thing I also know about Pink Floyd, and I know you know that as well, is oftentimes when you'd see them in concert, especially in their heyday, they would vary a little bit from what you heard on the album and do their own little kind of jam session. Are you guys kind of jam bandy that way with kind of Pink Floyd and go off in different directions?
So it was our musical director was very adamant at the beginning to say, in order to deviate from the music, you better master the music first. So we've spent all of our energy and effort over the last several years mastering what we feel is mastering the music. We'll never be there completely. Nobody can ever get there and totally master it. But we made it to the point about a year and a half ago to where we do take some extended solos and we do have some extended jam sessions. You have to be very careful of that though, because it needs to be in the spirit and the feel of Floyd, of how they did it. And so we're nailing it at our shows that we go to, and our audiences are reacting very favorably to how we present it that way.
So, if you could tell me a little bit about your band, what do you do in the band, John?
So I'm one of the founding members of it, and I'm called the utility player.
Okay.
So I play saxophone and lap steel guitar and percussion and a lot of other stuff as well. We kind of bounce around the stage. I think I'm best known for getting out in the audience a lot of times during the show and getting people on their feet and getting them to clap with us and getting to really participate in the performance we're giving them.
So, with what you do with the band, do you cover their whole entire career as Pink Floyd? Do you do some of the Sid Barrett stuff, some of the Gilmore era, or do you kind of keep it with the big albums?
Yeah, we can play pretty much all the Floyd stuff. We can span all those albums. What we find though is that most Floyd fans, they want to hear the hits. So we're learning the hits good, we're playing the hits well. But what we will do is, like, if we have a pre-show, a VIP sound check, for instance, we may pull out Echoes in its entirety, or we might pull out Dogs in its entirety, or some of the more obscure stuff even. So yeah, we do have fun with it for sure.
So, how did the band get together? I mean, just talking to you prior to this interview, I could tell, like me, you're a huge Pink Floyd fan.
Yeah.
And how do you guys find each other to put this project together 3 years ago?
It's kind of crazy, and I've never been a guy that says, "Hey, man, just put it out there to the universe, and then everyone's just going to show up." But this has been a very curated project that's taken a while. We started off with 7 core members 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and all 7 core members are still here. Everyone was handpicked by our musical director, Ray Nesbitt, at the time. Ray also does audio engineering for John Lodge of the Moody Blues. So Ray's been around the block. He's a guitarist on stage for us now. He used to run front of house. We filled that position with someone else now. But Ray was very adamant on making sure that not only did the music feel right, but the personalities felt right as well. We didn't want to end up like another Pink Floyd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So no, when we get together, we have our own lives that we do when we're not on the road. We come back home and things get chaotic and hectic, but it's fun because when we get back to the studio, where our studio is just kind of in the middle of all of us here in Alva, Florida. But when we get back to our studio to go do some pre-stuff for our shows, the feeling that we get when we all come together is just like a big family reunion again. So it's amazing how well 9 people can connect and communicate. I've never seen anything like it. I've been in business for years doing a lot of other things, but I've never seen so many people get together so well and have an organization run so streamlined. On top of it, you throw in some of the best iterations of Floyd that you're ever going to hear, and that's just icing on the cake.
So I was reading, I think it was in an email when we were going back and forth, and I don't think I've heard, maybe I'm wrong, I could be wrong, with some of the other tribute acts out there, but you are actually going to be re-recording one of Floyd's albums and then actually re-recording some originals as well. Tell me a little bit about this project.
So we had a kind of a crazy idea. Our agent out of California, Paradise Artist Adam, he's a phenomenal dude. He's got a Pink Floyd tattoo on his forearm as well. So he's kind of in it to win it. But Adam and I were talking and we were kind of brainstorming around several months back and we're like, hey, look, let's lay down the Wish You Were Here album in its entirety, press that, put it on an LP, get out there in CDs, and we can, use that as promo and get it out there to our fans. And then Adam came up with this idea that he said, well, I know you guys record it. You're in the studio all the time where you play music, but you also have this ability to be able to do something epic. And I said, okay, hit me with it. Because I knew it was coming. I was like, it's kind of hold my beer. I use that phrase a lot. He said, what if you guys were to go instead of record at your home base, which is a phenomenal studio, by the way. It's $1 million recording studio that we're in. But he said, what if we, instead of recording here in the US, we went ahead and had a pilgrimage of sorts and followed the footsteps of Pink Floyd 50 years ago. Because 50 years ago in 2025, starting in January 25, Pink Floyd started recording the Wish You Were Here album in London at Abbey Road Studios. Some fans know that, some fans don't know that. And Studio 3 is where they were. So Adam said, what if we could go to Abbey Road Studios and record the album same week that they started, same month, in the same studio at Abbey Road, Studio 3, lay it down and just, again, get it out there to the world. And I thought, you know what, that'd be a great idea. So we sent out, and I'm like, this is going to be a crapshoot. Abbey Road's probably so packed, it's hard to get into them. We sent an email off to Abbey Road and they said, matter of fact, we have an opening. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. So in January, we're going to be doing a little private show up in New York City on the 12th of January. The 13th, we fly to London. We have photographers and stuff in view. We're going to document the whole experience. And then we're going to lay down the entire Wish You Were Here album at Abbey Road Studios. We're so excited about that.
That sounds amazing. And a lot of people have heard the story that that's when the first time after Sid left, that the guys didn't even realize Sid was watching them in one of the studios, and he had looked so different because of the issues he was going through. And it took him a while to go, that was Sid? And I think it was during Shine On You Crazy Diamond that happened, if I remember correctly.
That's correct. And a couple of weeks ago, I had an idea before Abbey Road Studios shut down for the holiday because they'll be back at the beginning of January. I wrote to Kayla out there and I was like, look, has any other Pink Floyd tribute band recorded at Abbey Road Studios? I don't know. Did you see this in what I sent to you?
No, I don't remember this.
So I was like, it's a good question to ask. And I'm like, has there any other Pink Floyd tribute bands? And she said, I asked around to all of our audio engineers and to everybody who's here right now. We don't keep totally detailed records of what's going on, but to our collective knowledge, Floyd Nation is the first Pink Floyd tribute band to record at Abbey Road Studios, which I'm even more excited about now. So we'll lay down a little bit of our stone on that, a little bit of a cornerstone on that experience, claiming that title, I guess, if you will. But at the end of the day, once our fans and once the world hears what we're going to lay down, it's just going to be game on. It's going to take this band and throw it to a whole nother level for sure.
Now, if I remember this part, I do remember you writing in your email to me. You mentioned that you might even lay down a couple originals.
We do have a number of originals we're working on. we always question what would Pink Floyd sound like if they continued on as Pink Floyd.
Oh, wow.
From when Roger broke when he stepped out in the early 80s. So we have worked on quite a few. There are going to be some that we're going to lay down on that album just to give everybody a taste of.
Oh, I'm looking
But
forward to
so
hearing it.
yeah, we're super excited about that side of it too.
I'm absolutely looking forward to hearing that. So again, you're
Like,
going to
like
be
it
here.
isn't like it isn't good enough to have so many albums and so many hundreds of hours of music to be able to, play back for people. We're just going to throw some originals in the mix too. So why not, right?
Why not? That sounds like a great idea. I mean, everybody, every musician I've ever spoken to has an influence. You know what I mean? And here, you guys, you're wearing your influence on your sleeve, and you're doing a tribute to your favorite band. And why not go? What if?
Well, I'll
I
tell
think
you,
it's a
the
great
one
idea.
thing that really hooks me, Larry, is every time before every show, I'm out in the audience, I'm in the auditorium, I'm out in front, meeting people, talking to them, finding out about their experiences. Have they ever been to Floyd concerts? What did they like? Who's their favorite tribute band? I want to know all of it. The funny thing is, what I'll say, they say, well, what makes you different? What is it that makes you different than all the other Floyd tribute bands that are out there? And I say, from my experience and my taste of Floyd, which goes back to since I was 8 years old, and I've just, that's all I've ever listened to since I was 8 years old was Pink Floyd. My mom actually got me the Wall LP as a gift with all the signatures from the original band members on the LP, which I'm super
Wow.
excited about. But no, it's really cool, man. When I think about Pink Floyd and I think about what is it that makes us different, there's a drippy, soulful feel to Gilmore's playing that has to be there. And if you can hear bands get close to it, but I've never heard a band nail it. And so before every show, I'll pick a couple of fans out and I'll say, look, come to the show. I'll tell you what, if we don't hook you in the first 3 or 4 minutes, then I'll triple your money back at our show.
Wow.
And it's funny because I've done that probably 100 times. And everyone comes up to me at either intermission or after the show, and they're like, you know what? Keep that money. We'll be back to the next one. So, we're all super excited about it. We're super excited about what we've created and just so ecstatic to be able to share this with the world.
So if people want to follow you, new fans or people who just want to discover the band, do you have a website? Are you on social media? How can people interact with you before the concert?
Facebook, we're very active on Facebook. All of us in the band are very active in our fan club on Facebook, the official Floyd Nation fan club. So we've got about just under 6,000 people already there. Get on our Facebook page, get inside of our fan club because that's real time, live back and forth. There's a website that we have at floydnation.live, and you can check out some of our photos and our tour, where we're going around the country, kind of the things we're doing, a little bit of backgrounds on some of us are up there. But the main thing is get on our Facebook page, go join our fan club, and check us out that way.
So is it called Official Floyd Nation?
The official Floyd Nation fan club, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, John,
Yeah.
thank you so much for taking part of, I'm sure, a busy day getting ready for the second part of the holidays and, of course, hitting the road next year and going to Abbey Road Studio. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear the music live, and I can't wait to hear the CD when it comes out.
I can't wait, and not all of us can't wait to get on that circular stage at Celebrity Theater in
Yep.
Arizona. We can't wait to hit that stage in just about a month from now.
Yeah, you'll be in Celebrity Theater. You're going to be down here in Tucson on March 28th. Are you playing Celebrity before Phoenix before Tucson or the day after?
So we're doing the Celebrity the end of March. I guess we're actually 3 months away from that, aren't we?
Yes. I know you're
Boy,
playing us March 28th. We're about 90 minutes away from the Celebrity. You're going to love the
exactly.
Celebrity. I was just there the
So
other night. Fantastic. Hey, John, thank you so much.
thanks, Larry.
And again, to follow you, official Floyd Nation fan club.
Official Floyd Nation fan club. You can go to floydnation.live, which is our website.
Perfect. Go there, and then we'll see you guys on the 28th here in Tucson, the 27th up in Phoenix. And again, Pink Floyd.